Hello and welcome to the Trade and Investment Queensland Export Insight series for Queensland exporters. My name is Matthew Andrew and I'm the General Manager, Queensland Operations with Trade and Investment Queensland. Today, we are focused on export strategy, which is really about how you either get into a new market or re-enter an old one. And there's some particular challenges with it given the current COVID-19 situation. I'd like to begin today's webinar by introducing Courtney Ford from the Chamber of Commerce and Industry Queensland, who's going to talk to you about the importance of export strategies and why you need it if you're going to be a successful exporter. Over to you, Courtney.
Thank you for that introduction. I'm Courtney Ford and I'm the TradeStart Export Advisor for the Chamber of Commerce and Industry Queensland. I'm here today to discuss the importance of a strategy when considering export for your business. A good strategic framework provides focus by limiting the number of directions an organisation takes and to provide a clear and concise plan. Successful exporters are adaptable, well organised and committed to growing their business internationally. Exporting will provide your company with prospects for growth in profits and competitiveness. You need to be sure at the start that export will benefit your company. Any new business strategy requires commitment, and none more so than exporting. The first piece of advice I would offer is don't bite off more than you can chew. Focus, choose, make progress, and then tackle a new direction. You would be foolish to attempt to expand to multiple markets while increasing capacity, changing your business model to include new types of production, sourcing, sales, and partnerships. Export planning is all about understanding the issues of risk, capability, complexity, credibility, and sequencing your efforts to maximise your impact. So why do we need an export strategy? It provides a tangible plan with milestones and key allocations of responsibilities, so everyone knows their roles and requirements to meet those milestones. It ensures that you undertake the research required to support market selection and entry options. It allows you to identify challenges and future impacts on the business, and it forces you to review your company's operations and growth aspirations. It's best to begin with an internal analysis of current and required resources to become a sustainable exporter. It allows you to demonstrate to financial backers, customers, and support agencies that the export plan is viable. And it allows you to maintain current market share whilst undertaking a growth strategy in both domestic and international markets. And you're able to then review your competitive position to highlight your strengths in terms of product, service, staff, distribution, and technical services, along with identifying your unique selling propositions. So what does a company hope to gain from exporting? It will allow you to understand whether the company is export capable, and if so, then is the export plan consistent with the goals and direction of the company? What does the company's national footprint look like? And do you have enough market share locally to sustain export activities and provide credibility in overseas markets? If you are only selling via your own website and to a couple of local outlets, then it's very difficult to demonstrate to an overseas customer that you have the capability or capacity to service large chain stores with complex logistical requirements and payment terms. What resources are required, and is the company committed with management's full support? If management don't support the activities, then it's difficult to gain any traction. And do you have international expertise within the company, or do you need to recruit someone with this knowledge? Are modifications required, or is the model adaptable and scalable offshore, and does a business model even stack up? Assess the factors that will impact on your export plans. This is where you undertake market research and market selection activities. These will include market analysis, ranking market attractiveness, assessing competition, understanding export market environments, and the distribution and logistics complexities of that market. So why do businesses look at export markets? The obvious one is to increase sales and profits. But the one I'm actually told the most, which is quite concerning, is because the Australian market is so difficult. If you are struggling to sell to a local retailer that you can visit regularly and drop the product off yourself and only have to work out wholesale costs, then you do need to have a good look at your brand. Something isn't right, and I can guarantee that if you find it hard to sell locally, then you will struggle to export your products, given the complex issues that have to be factored in to move your product offshore. increasing brand awareness, especially if you have an exit strategy that includes selling the business down the track. Building economies of scale. This can also include offshoring manufacturing to reduce unit costs and be closer to key customers and supply chains. Diversify risk and develop a broader customer base. As they say, never put your eggs in one basket. To seek a competitive advantage or gain first mover advantage. And most of all, we also hear a lot is responding to an opportunity, which requires you to undertake due diligence and qualify the lead to ensure the potential partner has the right channels to market, credibility, experience with registering, importing, and selling your type of products. It's critical for businesses to apply not just the same principles that they do to a partner inquiry in Australia, but they need to do even more investigation into that customer and understand the market entry requirements with registration, regulations, channels to market, pricing models, and the competition. So, formulating an export strategy. First of all, list out all the reasons why the company wants to export and then reduce it back to the 5 main reasons. Make it a living document so that others can contribute towards it and it's reviewed regularly and updated or modified. Analyse the company's operations and growth aspirations, including competitive position, complete a SWOT analysis, which includes your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats, and identify your brand or product USP, which is your unique selling proposition. Relying purely on being Australian with being clean and green, it's not unique. So look at provenance, ingredients, efficacy, solution selling, technology, or cost savings. Be realistic about what resources are required. Undertake an internal audit of capacity, imports, human resources, cash flow, technology requirements, and distribution. Create a plan summary with allocated tasks. Create up to a 3-page summary, which is your export strategy plan, and allocate key people to undertake each activity. Your export plan will follow on from the export strategy structure outlined. It should include target setting, market entry strategies, and financial management, including your export pricing model. Marketing decisions on your distribution model will be required. So will you be looking at a distributor, agent, a representative office, after-sales service, or e-commerce? This includes marketing support to promote your brand. Sometimes this will be incorporated into the distributor's margin, or they may ask you for a marketing budget outright to support the launch and additional in-market promotional activities for the brand. Many businesses neglect to allocate a budget for these activities and then wonder why the distributor is having issues with building brand awareness. Remember that the partners that you choose are an extension of your business, and if you don't nurture the relationship, support them with all the required branding, marketing, training, and promotional plans, then they are less likely to put effort into your product, as opposed to other brands who will. Develop a timeline for export. 3 to 5 years is realistic, depending on the complexity of your product or services and how quickly you can mobilise your plan. Start with easier markets that have less regulations and registration issues. The only challenge with this is that those markets will also have high levels of competition. Allocate financial resources and key staff to deliver on the plan. Can your current staff members undertake their existing workload and have this added onto their daily tasks? Do they have the knowledge of exporting requirements to undertake the research, develop financial modelling, and understand the logistical and regulatory requirements offshore? If not, then can the business afford to outsource, recruit someone with this expertise, or train someone in-house to undertake these activities? Select products and services most suitable for export. Look at your fastest selling products that generate the best return on investment, or ROI. Also look at market demand and market fit. Trying to sell cosmetics to Korea is difficult, as they have a lot of manufacturing companies in the country with very high standards and competitive pricing. So be realistic about market selection and what is unique about your products or offerings that will gain a buyer's attention. Identify key customer criteria. This is something not many businesses do, but really need to consider. Think about who your top 3 customers are and what they do best and why you like working with them. Create a list of criteria based around this that helps you identify the right types of partners that you want to work with. Think about payment terms, sales support, marketing, training, relationships, channels to market, as opposed to just volume of sales. Ideally, these partnerships will be long-term and you will grow together, so you want to choose the right people to take on the journey. It's just like entering into a marriage. Undertake market selection processes. Key considerations are ease of access, market demand, competition, pricing and margin requirements, logistical requirements, registration and regulatory requirements, and partner searches. Instigate the export plan. Drive its implementation. Regularly review and adjust the strategy as market circumstances change. If the global financial crisis and COVID-19 have taught us anything, it's that anything can and will happen. So diversification of market channels, locally and offshore, are critical. Plan for the worst case scenario and research. Find market specialists or mentors to talk to and seek advice from. And surround yourself with businesses in the same sector that are complementary to you, that you can share contacts, ideas, and generally understand the issues you are being faced with and what solutions others have come up with to address these problems. You won't be the first or last company to face those issues, but you can learn from others if they are willing to share. So developing a good ecosystem and support network is critical and what the most successful businesses I have come across do. I hope this has helped you to understand why having a business strategy and an export strategy is vital to ensure long-term success for your business. If you have any questions or require export assistance, then please contact your regionally based TradeStart Export Advisor or contact us at the Chamber of Commerce and Industry Queensland, CCIQ, to point you in the right direction based on your current requirements. Thank you.
Thanks, Courtney. There were some great insights in that. Next, we're going to hear from Shane Stiles, fantastic name, by the way, of the Export Council of Australia, who's going to run through the key elements of the export strategy. Thank you, Shane.
Thanks, Matthew, for the introduction. I'm Nick Alford, filling in for Shane Stiles, who he introduced before. And I'm going to be talking about strategy and the key elements of what your strategy is all about. The reality is that what your business plan needs to cover and what strategy is all about are all these sorts of issues that we're looking at as far as going into any marketplace. So you need to consider the domestic overview of your business, the offer and value of the delivery that you're actually putting together and sending off into the other jurisdiction that you're going to, who your target market is. I mean, the reality is that target market is everyone is different. Every jurisdiction is different. So you need to ensure that you're specific with your target market and the way that you're approaching it. Then it looks like your market entry strategies, how you're going to actually enter into the marketplace. Are you going to utilise an agent, a distributor? Are you going to set up your own office? All those sorts of things. And in particular, then you need to understand your financial resources, how far you need to go and how deep are your pockets as far as export are concerned. Because otherwise, you'll run into that challenging aspect where you go, oh, now what do? I haven't got enough to fund that. And it's important that you look at the long game as far as this strategy is concerned. It's about payment and currency options. It's about your staff, how they're engaged with what you do. It's about the way that your product and or service is export ready. Is it export ready? Have you looked at that marketplace? Understanding what the regulatory requirements are into the particular jurisdiction you're going into. And these are little things. It's about building your strategy. These are the things that build your strategy to actually enter the marketplace. How do you position yourself in the marketplace? What are your competitors doing? Protecting your brand and the effective contracts once you are actually in that marketplace. The understanding that you need to go to is understanding the channels that you're going to utilise to actually access the marketplace, who are going to be in that channel delivery, and where that market is as far as you're concerned. So you need to look at your business proposition, your value proposition, what it looks like, where you're going, and you need a value proposition for every market that you're moving into. Each jurisdiction is going to be different. Each jurisdiction is going to have its particular nuance. Each jurisdiction is going to need a strategy for it. Okay, so the product or service, what are the costs involved, etc., etc. So those are the sorts of things that we need to ensure that you're going to do and that you have with respect to your strategy. Your strategic plan is an important aspect of everything that you do. It is one of those things that you need to look at and ensure that you have an understanding of where your threats are coming from, where your opportunities are, whether they be, your company size, whether it be big or small, etc. Do you need to change your packaging? Then that strategy is paramount when you're looking at how you are engaging in the marketplace. Who are you utilising to assist you in that entry into a particular jurisdiction? And that is the case with anything as far as your business is concerned. Understanding what strategy you're going to actually engage with when you're entering a jurisdiction. So that's going to be your value proposition, your channels to market, who your key personnel are going to be, what the products are going to be, what it's looking like, the actual costs and the actual income that you're going to generate for that marketplace. So again, we are always looking at how that strategy is delivered. I mean, it's about putting the business plan together, but then it's about executing that business plan. And that business plan is paramount to actually sharing the strategy with whether it be your financial institution, your employees who are engaged, the distributors that you're going to engage with in another jurisdiction, and how you're going to deliver into that jurisdiction. Understanding this is probably one of the key areas of delivering on a strategy. That strategy, it's about from getting A to B. Logistics, all the things that are part and parcel of export. It's about how we get our product into another market that is not our current domestic jurisdiction. Remember that to stick with your strategy, and as they say in the SAS, it's being rigidly flexible. Okay, so you've got a target, you've got an aim, you've got a goal, you need to aim towards that, but again, you need to be able to adapt into that jurisdiction as well. So, very simple. It's about, okay, what is your price, how much you can deliver, when you can deliver it, by sea or air, when you want payment, the quality of the product, any warranty, exclusivity, competition, language and cultural issues, legal and ethical issues, environmental issues. All those things come to build your strategy. Okay, so good luck and see you on the other side.
Thank you everyone for watching today. I hope you've got some really good insights into export and export strategy from this particular session. If you have any further queries or questions, and you may well, after those two excellent presentations, I'd encourage you to contact Trade and Investment Queensland. Our details are on your screen now. Thanks again and have a great day.